there's over 300 people in this book that served either volunteer or 1W service. And I spent the first 6 months here at Sunnyside working as an orderly in the nursing home. Last year, I worked in the laundry, doing the laundry. And we were paid $35 a month for our service. And you might wonder, you know, if you go to Dutchman and take your wife to their Dutchman, you can spend $35 really quick. So, but it's surprising, we of course were provided housing and our food. And so we didn't have any expenses really, except our gas to drive our cars around. Actually, the first 6 months we weren't allowed to have a car. We had to go without a car the first 6 months. So, are you ready to read? We'll do the short little video on introduction to the history of Pinecraft. And most of that information is from this book here. Go ahead.
We're going to apologize if it's a little green. We're having
yeah, the color is not quite right.
Somebody has tinkered with it. Yeah, I'll tell you.
The history of Pinecraft. This is an old sign that used to be on Bay Vista coming into Pinecraft. Some of these pictures came from the Noah Gingrich book, The History of Pinecraft. Here's some ladies sitting on a bench outside the post office. And there's the men sitting there. A little bit of the history of Pinecraft. It started back in the 20s, out east of town at the celery fields. And they found this rich, dark soil that they could grow vegetables. In the beginning, when people came to Florida, they came to work, and some came to get away from the cold weather up north for health reasons. And this is today's view of the celery fields. It's now a park, and they built some walkways out over the water, and you can, there's some pavilions out there that you can go walk out there. And in this area, there's a lot of alligators. A few years ago, they built this big hill here and made this area deeper so it would hold water for Philippi Creek, which drains into Pinecraft. So there's another connection with Pinecraft on the celery fields. You get to the celery fields by going underneath the I-75 and on Palmer Boulevard and go east. This is the Philippi Creek, what it looks like today at Pinecraft Park. And there's Amish lady fishing. This is a view of the Bay Vista, looking towards the tourist church on the left. It's just a dirt street, and they had their own gas station, and that's the location of the Yoder's Fresh Market today. And then they had some restaurants. The first one was called the Pinecraft Eaton House. It's run by Christine, and this is the building today, how it looks like. It's a chiropractor office. And then we have other restaurants. This one here is Yoder's today. It was called the Blue Gate Restaurant at one time. Then also we have Der Dutchman further east. This is the old post office, which is now a pizza shop, and the back of the big old ice cream stand. And here's a little short video on what it looks like today. There's Bay Vista. It's now a 4-lane road, where before it was just a little grass or mostly sand road, only one way into town. You didn't have Bonita finished and didn't have Bay Vista finished, so you couldn't go out of Pinecraft except for the bridge on the west edge of Pinecraft. So there's the where the old post office used to be. There's pizza there. And And they're also selling some pretzels there. This was taken last year. So there's only one little rickety wooden bridge coming into Pinecraft, and every once in a while they have floods and they wash the bridge out, so they have to bring in the groceries by boat. And this is, next picture is the Sarasota Baking Company, and, or Sarasota Bread Company, and this is the tourist church today. They had big ovens in there, and used to do a lot of baking in there. And then we, on the north side of Pinecraft, is a subdivision called Homecraft. It's all now known as Pinecraft. You can buy a completely furnished house and lot for only $1,500. And here's an auction of the house that sold last spring for over $300,000. Same area.
Is that your judgment? We're on last call. 290, 291, all right. Everyone feel 295, I see it in the eyes. Is that yes, 295, 295, just in time. They come off about 300.
This is another picture that came out of the book. This is the John Overholt family and his children. And I thought it was interesting. I did a video of them, these children, singing with their children. And this is their song they sang in the park. And we've all heard of fish stories. Here's a fishing trip. It cost $3.50 on the Captain Anderson boat. Look at the size of those fish. Well, today the Amish still go fishing, and the only difference is the fish aren't quite as big as they used to be. So I hope you enjoyed this short video. There's lots more that could be said about this, but I started coming to Florida in 1971, so I've seen some of these changes, but I haven't seen some of the stuff that happened back in the 20s and 30s. So thanks for watching. Differences between Amish and Mennonites. This is a very hard question.
Okay, that was the first chapter of this video here, and I'll just go over the rest of the video, what's in it. Difference between Amish and Mennonites, compare some of the, a lot of people have questions, what's the difference, Amish, Mennonites, and then there's the Beachy Amish, there's the Holden's, there's about 10 different flavors, you might say. And so that video, the next part sort of explains that. Then the next one is, where are they from? People wonder, in Florida they can't have horse and buggies, they just don't work here on the streets of Pinecraft. And so they ride their bicycles down here. But how do they get here? Well, there's a bus service. We have Pioneer Trails from Ohio. It comes from Ohio and Indiana. And they come 3 times a week. And then the next day they'll leave. And so then we also have a bus from Davis County, Indiana, which is southern Indiana. And it also brings Illinois people in. They come twice a week. Then during the winter we have 2 different bus services from Pennsylvania that bring the Amish down here. And so that's why you see so many Amish down here. Over 3,000 Amish come in to Pinecraft in the wintertime, and only several hundred that are here in the summertime. Then I have some video about Pinecraft activities, shuffleboard, bocce ball, checkers, and of course going to the beach. And Then the next one is the barbecue and pie. We just had a barbecue fundraiser last night. We had Ryan and friends there. He's a ventriloquist. And we had a huge line. They served over 1,200 dinners last night. Then we had a lot of music in Pinecraft. We have, there's about 20 different musical groups that are on the end of this video. And I have a few of these along if anyone cares to purchase them. They're $20 each. Then I'd like to expand a little bit more on the history of Pinecraft. Does anybody remember Beneva Road when it did not go north over Filthy Creek? Okay, some of the old timers, when I first came in 1971, there's just a little 2-lane road coming out here to Sunnyside. Bay Vista, or Beneva, did not go north. It stopped at Filthy Creek. And back in the 20s, it didn't even go out east on Bay Vista. The only way to get in was through the bridge over Pinecraft. It was a wooden bridge, and it would keep washing out all the time. So they finally put a concrete bridge in. And I remember seeing the water over that bridge back in the 70s. Every time it rained, it would flood in Pinecraft. So that's why the celery fields are no longer celery fields. They wouldn't dug it out, and like I said on the video, but the reason the Amish first came to Pinecraft was because someone had set it up some little 40 by 40 lots, and they could build a small house on there, and then they would go and work in the celery fields. It was real good luck. Back in the early 20s, they drained that. They put in the bridge. There's a, right down here on McIntosh, there's a Filthy Creek that goes out through there, and the Palmer family bought that land out there, and they put in a ditch and drained that into the Gulf, because that used to be just a swamp, and real good black dirt, and so they could raise different crops out there. And so that's really what brought the Amish down here. A lot of them had health issues, and they wanted something to do while they were here, so they work in the celery fields. And I don't know if you remember, but last winter, the packing house building out on Packing House Road burned down. The restaurant is still there, but most of the warehouse is gone. That's where they pack the celery. It's several different places out there that would pack the celery. They'd pack it, put it on wagons, and pull it in down the road with a Model T car. That's what they did in the 20s. Now, I wasn't here for that, but that's what's in this book. And so, Pinecraft is quite a history. There's very unusual because there's people from many different states, sort of like this room here. They all have a different origins. You come from different states, and so that's sort of what makes up Pinecraft. And if you ever have a chance, go down to the Pinecraft Park, and I'm sure you'll find somebody to talk to. So I hang out there a lot. I do a lot of videos of what's happening, because the people up north, while they're up there shoveling snow, would like to know what's going on in Pinecraft. And so I want to talk a little bit about my time here at Sunnyside. I came in, my brother was 2 years older than I was. He came in '69 and through '71, and I followed him and served here for 2 years. And every Tuesday night, we would play volleyball right out here in the, right where the new nursing home is built now. It's actually the nursing home that we worked at is no longer here. It's been replaced with a newer building. But the young people from the community would gather there, and it was sort of what we call a match factory. And so a lot of people would meet their spouse there, and that's what happened to me. And I met a girl there from Ohio, and we married in '73. And then we adopted 2 boys in 1980, and they were from the same mother but different fathers. And I'll just talk a little bit about the pictures on the front cover of the book. And the oldest one, Mark, we could not take care of him. He, at 10 years old, he started setting fires and being very rebellious, so we sent him back to his natural father, who was still living at the time. And he went to Georgia. He grew up there, but he had bad friends, and he decided one day to steal a car and shoot at the cops. And the cops are not real happy when you do that. And so he had to spend 13 years in jail. Unfortunately, he passed away in jail 2 years ago. He had a brain tumor. So the other son, Mike, lives in Illinois, and he has an 11-year grandson. So I'm thankful for that. I had a construction company here in Sarasota. Did demolition work, bobcat work, and then one day I started getting sick. I just couldn't go to work anymore, and then I found out that my liver was shot and I needed a new liver. So the doctor here recommended I go to Omaha, Nebraska to get a liver transplant. So I almost died several times before I got the transplant. But because of that, I now have kidney failure. And so I'm on dialysis for the last about two years and 3 months. And if you don't understand dialysis, it's not a fun place to be. 3 times a week, I go in over here to Fruitville, right across the road from Robarts Arena, and I have to get hooked up to a machine. There's a big filter, and they stick needles in my arm, sort of like 10 penny nails. You know, they drive in your arm. It hurts every time, and so 3.5 hours later, you come out and you're all weak, and you got to go eat. It feels like you haven't eaten for a month, and so. Anyway, you know, I once had a pity party and nobody came, so I decided to do something else. I'm sure that's happened to all of you. You know, life seems to give us lemons, but we got to make lemonade, and so that's what I've tried to do. And you know, if I would have passed on, I wouldn't be here to enjoy my grandson and my son, and my parents are still living. My dad is 90, and so I helped take care of them. Now they took care of me when I had my liver transplant. And so I'm just thankful for the gift of life, and so I'm just about out of things to say. Gary wanted me to talk a little bit about Uber. I don't know if anyone knows anything about the rideshare program. What happened to me, I had a 2002 vehicle, and when I came here from Illinois, it had 200,000 miles on it, and it was on its last legs, and the transmission was starting to slip, and so I traded in on another vehicle, and so I decided I'd better do something to help pay for this vehicle. And so I signed up with Uber, which is a rideshare program. It's just an app on a smartphone, is all it is. And anytime you want to ride, you put your credit card in the smartphone, and you just tell the phone where you want to be picked up at and where you want to go. And then as a rider, we'll come pick you up and take you where you want to go. So if anybody has a smartphone, you might want to try it. It's 95 cents a mile, but it's real fast and it's easy. And so I've done that the last 3 months. I've done over 1,000 different rides. We go to Tampa to the airport, and most of them are just short rides around town. And it's fun, it's something to do. So, also I have some other videos. I did a video on Amish and Mennonites in Arthur, Illinois. That's where I'm from. And I've done a lot of horse farming videos that I've put on YouTube, and I put them together on a DVD. Also, Horse Progress Days video. Several years ago, they had a Horse Progress Days there in Arthur, and it was very informative to me. There's a lot of hobby farmers out there that not necessarily Amish, but people that like to go back to the old way of doing things. And some of them remember doing horse farming in their younger years, and they're trying to go back to that. Also, I do a lot of construction videos, digging in the dirt, and then every year we have an Amish country tractor cruise. I've done some videos of that. So if anyone has any questions or anything, but I think about putting y'all to sleep, go ahead.
I knew a lady in a part of Pinecraft that had a little house, no garage, just a little square house with 4 rooms, and the lot was very small. And she sold that for, I can't remember the exact price, but $200,000 or $300,000.
Yeah, an average house in Pinecraft sells for about $300,000. And you could buy that house a lot for $1,500 back a few years ago. So, but I remember in 1971 when I was here and I was making $35 a month. Gas was 39 cents a gallon, and you go to McDonald's for 19 cents and get a Big Mac. So everything's relative.
You might mention, I may not know what you mean by YouTube, what YouTube is.
Okay. YouTube is owned by Google, and Google puts ads on my video. Earlier we showed a video. I don't know why, but everything was green today, but it's normally in full color. But so they put ads on my videos, and so I get some revenue from putting the ads or putting the videos on YouTube. YouTube is just a place where people can upload it. I take a video with a camera, then I run it through my computer and edit it, upload it to YouTube, and then you can go online if you have a smartphone, an iPad, or a computer, and watch that video. And so I've got 950 videos on there, just a whole range of different things, and there's millions of videos on YouTube. If you want to know how to do something, YouTube is a very good resource. Before I sold my old vehicle, the back window didn't work. So I went on eBay and bought a new window motor for it. Then I went on YouTube and sticked in my year, car, and what I wanted to see, and then the mechanic showed me exactly how to install that window. And so there's, if your washing machine breaks down or anything that you don't know how to do, just go on YouTube, and there'll be somebody on there that'll show you how to fix something. So it's a very good resource.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, so many views. That means that people looked at it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it had over 11 million views now of the different videos.
What started the Amish coming?
Basically, the celery fields. That's where it all comes down to. They wanted a place. They actually started in Venice. They went down and bought some land in Venice, but when they went down there and they took the soil to the extension office and wanted it tested and asked, what does this dirt need? He said, well, it needs everything but sand. Yeah, it didn't have any nutrients in it. And so they just couldn't grow anything down there. And so they found out about the celery fields and the muck out there that they had drained that land. It's real good black dirt. I remember they used to have what they call a mule train, and that's how they harvested the celery. They had a big vehicle with a conveyor on it, and people would walk there and cut the celery off and put it on the conveyor, go to the center, and then put it in boxes. Then they had a truck behind it, they'd stack the boxes on the truck, and then haul it back to the packing house.
Now,
I think at one time the Bell family really years ago I was born here in 1928, had celery fields, and then the Big Six had Bob Garrison, Blake Brawley, Sam Fleischman, and then Fancy Farms had it, the Felicia family.
I have a picture right here of the Bell family and their truck. Right there it is.
yeah,
That's all they're going to
so
start.
the,
The first refrigerated trucks, and they sell it to the
Yes.
chairman
Yes, there's a 100-room hotel, 4-story, going up right now behind your Dutchman. So that'll be an interesting project. Yes.
someone was wondering, where did Pinecraft get the name?
Okay, there's a couple named Kraft that plotted the land there It was actually a tourist camp. They only put tents up there first, 40 by 40 foot lots. So they plotted that, and it was called a tourist camp. See, back in the 20s, people would come down here on their Model Ts. They'd have a tent with them. They'd just camp. There was no motels. And so they had these lots set up, so they could put their tents there. So Kraft was the name of the guy that actually plotted the land. And so then there's a lot of pine trees there. And so they used the pine sap to, they made something out of it. I forget now what it was. Turpentine, I guess. And so that's where the Pinecraft comes from.
And the tourist church comes clear back to when they had the camp.
Yes, the church's been there a long time. That was a bakery at one time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for your attention. And,